Yes, I mean, when I started the business, one of the things you'll find there are other sub operators out there, but they typically have gentlemen who are ex-military submariners, and you'll see a whole bunch of 50-year-old white guys. I wanted our team to be younger, to be inspirational, and I'm not going to inspire a 16-year-old to go pursue marine technology. But a 25-year-old, who's a sub pilot or a platform operator, or one of our techs, can be inspirational. And so we've really tried to get very intelligent, motivated, younger individuals involved, because we're doing things that are completely new. We're taking checklists, things we do for risk assessments and things like that are more aviation related than ocean related. And we can train people to do that. We can train someone to pilot the sub. We use a game controller, so anybody can drive the sub.
I swear to God, this story will never end. It's like Groundhog's Day. Every day I wake up and there's new submarine news that I have to report on. But we did receive news earlier today, and we'll get into the details a little bit later, that the OceanGate missing submarine very much likely imploded, instantly killing all 5 passengers. But before we received this news, a new narrative surfaced regarding the OceanGate submarine debacle. Wokeness is to blame. The woke mind virus is the reason that it couldn't handle the pressure. But you saw in that clip, apparently the CEO, Stockton Rush, didn't want to hire, as he said, 50-year-old white guys, and instead opted to hire younger people. Despite the fact that every single person in that clip was white, there wasn't a non-white person anywhere to be seen. So not 50-year-old white guys, but 49-year-old white guys were running the show over at OceanGate. But of course, New York Post, the scummy, disgusting rag that it is, took that clip and ran the narrative that wokeness was the true cause of the unsuccessful submarine voyage. And it wasn't Stockton Rush's lack of safety regulations and poor designing of the sub. No, this was their headline. Titanic Tour CEO didn't hire 50-year-old white guys because they weren't inspirational. And then this narrative was pushed by right-wing commentator The Quartering. This was his video earlier this week. Death by Woke, the dark woke secret of the missing Titanic sub, as crew has just hours to live. And you might remember Jeremy from The Quartering from his greatest hits, harassing Brie Larson, being permanently banned from Magic the Gathering tournaments for being creepy to women, urinating in a drain hole in his basement because he was angry his wife got pizza without him, or my personal favorite, defecating all over the floor of a Walmart. So that's who's pushing the idea that wokeness is what stopped this vessel from completing its mission. But one person who had the foresight to predict that this was going to happen was A-Lab podcast host Alla Liker, who tweeted this out the day before this was all happening. It's still too early to politicize this submarine tragedy, but after all is said and done, we will have to have a national reckoning about how this was all caused by wokeness. Is very much predicted what exactly happened in this situation. And then one Twitter user made a good point here amid this discourse. They said, I think Elon Musk, Samuel Alito, Joe Rogan, and David Zaslav should all help build an anti-woke submarine and then travel to the Titanic in it to show us how it's really done. Now, Dan, I know it's been a busy week for you. You've been keeping up on this. Are you emotionally doing okay upon hearing the news of the cause of the submarine failure?
I've been smoking packs that I can't necessarily do on the airwaves due to TYT reasons. I've already flew too close to the sun on many different occasions here. But no, it's really, I liked what a Hell Dude Classic a la Liker has put on. Because I saw that tweet as well, and I'm just being reminded of it because at this point, posting is just what the right wing does is so predictable and also so cartoonish that posting random things, you're likely to just get hits more often, as that isn't to about the absolute posting potential and cred that they have right there. But No, it's within the realm of possibility that Elon Musk said, you know what, I can step in and do it myself, because there was that one time where he was about to have SpaceX or Tesla manufacture a submarine to rescue some kids who were trapped in Southeast Asia, I believe. And he even called those people a pedo guy.
Right.
There was a chance Elon Musk like called someone a pedo just for old time's sake, just in this situation too, or just jumped himself into it as well. Too bad we're not covering his oncoming fight with Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. Maybe that's in the Watchlist members portion, because that's a pay-per-view fight. But no, I think this whole wokeness thing has been, and those of us on the left who have been commenting for a while have seen this coming. It is just a cash grab for people on the right to say this word. It's a nice, clean substitute for the N-word or black people or just things they don't like that involve progress. And then they can tie that to anything and then just watch their metrics shoot up. Like that video has like 200,000 views when I last checked earlier this morning. It's just a really cynical thing to do, but every right-wing person's in it because the culture war has always made them lots of money and always gotten them a lot of attention.
Right. And I saw like 3 different posts this morning on Twitter where they literally were just using woke as a substitute for black, just pointing at a black person and saying woke. Just literally not even a substitute for black, a substitute for the N-word. Although apparently the stepson of one of the billionaires on the Seacraft has no fear of using that word, the actual word himself, which we're not going to cover, but things got insanely more chaotic in regards to the stepson after we covered that yesterday. But what we will cover is the facts from what happened with the sub. I don't think you're supposed to call it a submarine, the vessel. Now, OceanGate said all aboard of the Titan submarine have, in their words, sadly been lost. From Washington Post, OceanGate believes the 5 passengers aboard the Titan submersible that's been missing for days have sadly been lost, a spokesperson said in a statement to Washington Post. The announcement came as the Coast Guard said a remotely operated vehicle had discovered a portion of the Titan roughly 1,600 feet from the bow of the Titanic wreck on the sea floor. Now, according to the United States Coast Guard, the debris found by the Titanic confirmed that the submersible Titan had imploded.
With experts from within the Unified Command, the debris is consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber. Upon this determination, we immediately notified the families. On behalf of the United States Coast Guard and the entire Unified Command, I offer my deepest condolences to the families. I can only imagine what this has been like for them. And I hope that this discovery provides some solace during this difficult time.
Now, at this point, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up again the massive differences between the coverage that these 5 billionaires have received versus the coverage that the migrants, the 750 missing migrants received after their boat they were using to escape their war-torn countries flipped. I mean, this tweet I think really sums it up. Multi-million-dollar rescue mission for the 5 missing rich men. And then the response to the 750 missing migrants is tighten the borders. I mean, and Dan, it's really gross because those 750 missing migrants were escaping to countries to the West from the damage that the West has done in their countries. And the response, of course, from the West was, screw you, you deserve this. Instead, we're gonna pour all of our resources into rescuing these 5 people who we know pretty much certainly died instantly.
Yeah, that's 5 people who like signed a waiver going, hey, this is an experimental, this is like the Tesla Cybertruck of submersible vehicles, let's call it, right? You don't want to say the S word submarine when you're describing it, it's apparently offensive. But Yeah, you move heaven and earth for these people who have heaven and earth and have had heaven and earth already to be able to blow $250,000 on this type of trip. It really, as a lot of folks have been describing, especially cosmopolitics as well, kind of like blows through, shout out to her, like it blows through the idea that the richer you are, the smarter you are. Because I think pretty much every poor person, maybe just through scarcity or maybe just like having a damn clue, would go, I'm not gonna spend $250,000 on that. But the other really annoying thing from all this was the way that people would scold and like virtue scold and go, oh wow, I can't believe even in this situation that you are cheering on the death of these people. And even though they're silent when people are cheering on the deaths or the torture of like migrants that you're talking about as they're trying to get to these situations, they're actively advocating for policies that would make their lives more miserable, but they choose to come out and clutch their pearls when it comes to the billionaires. I just thought that was a very revealing part of some of the discourse that was happening. Once again, a little bit extremely online, but definitely.
Right, especially when the response by Italy was to chastise these migrants for coming over on this, what they would deem as an illegal vessel to bring them to the only reason they have to go through smugglers to get to the country, to get to your country, to escape, to declare asylum is because you are not making the process easy for them. It's because you are intentionally making it difficult for them to use the legal or the proper channels to get there to declare asylum in the first place. It's your fault that this happened. Literally, and it's infuriating to watch that. Just disgusting.